All right, Patrick, I need help here. My brain's not competing. I know that the Portland Trailblazers have become basically a G League team over the past month or so, but I'm not used to the Timberwolves just throttling teams by 25, 30, 40 points and shooting T-shirt cannons off during the games in celebration.
And the crowd chanting MVP for Jake Layman, who hasn't played in 3 months, is kind of a different approach to it. But the NBA, man, you don't have Lillard. You traded McCullough, and now they got this Anthony Simons, right? The kid, I actually saw him play for IMG down in Florida when he was playing for IMG, and he gets 36 2 days ago, and they just don't play him last night. He's not hurt; they just don't play him.
Yeah,
he needs rest after getting 36. He's 20. He's 21. The league drives me crazy. Why do you? Well, yeah, he looked a little tired today, so we're not going to play him. What the bleep is that crap? And yeah, it certainly was a crazy night. It appeared, but again, the other team makes no attempt to compete. It's I don't think it should be cause for, oh, wasn't that wonderful, when the other team has one guy and then they just choose not to play.
I mean, the Timberwolves, D'Angelo Russell was out with bilateral hamstring soreness.
Yes,
anytime we hear the word bilateral here, it's a little bit triggering.
Yes, it is. I wonder if they were just, it sounded almost satirical, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like they were, okay,
we just needs a day off.
We know we don't need him to beat this collection that they're putting on the court. So we're going to give him some disease, and let's throw a little bilateral in there for old time's sake, right?
Just trolling the Twins.
Yes, we're trolling our neighbors here. But it's we were talking. I was talking yesterday. They have some depth, and they were showing it all last night. I love the fact that Josh Okogie, our #1 draft choice, has had to needs a 40-point game to get some minutes and become celebrated by the crowd now. It's what do they got? One more walkover, right? And then they have to Oklahoma City should
2 more, right?
They got the Magic and they got Oklahoma City, right?
Yeah.
Or in the reverse order.
Road games though, right?
No. OKC's here tomorrow night, Wednesday night.
Okay. That's a home game. Okay. And then they go to Florida, right? Orlando and Miami.
Yes.
Orlando, I think I saw Orlando beat them, didn't they, early this season?
Yeah, Orlando does that once in a while to the Timberwolves.
And they got some young players. They're not like no-shows, I don't think. But, and then Miami got Oladipo back with the rest of that collection right now, and they're already the under one seed. So #1 seed in the East, although they aren't going to be at the end. That's going to be Philadelphia. Philadelphia may never lose again with if Harden's going to play. So and how about Boston? Boston's like gone insane the last 2-3 weeks. So the East is pretty good, but yeah, I mean it's they're doing what they should do. And last night they did it in second largest win in franchise history.
Yep.
Right?
Wow. 43 points.
Who'd they beat worse? I was trying to think.
They beat somebody. I saw it last night. They beat somebody by like 51 way back when. And then I think the second had been a like 42-point win against the Bulls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, they were not caring about any repercussions of making the other team feel bad last night when they're dancing on the sideline.
You know what?
Shooting off cannons and doing the whole thing. They don't really care that they're humiliating the opponent.
But Pat, what made it so fun to watch was so like Cat is dancing around, and Cat and Pat Bev are doing the wave with the crowd, and Pat Bev takes the T-shirt cannon from Crunch and shoots it. And this is what I love about coaches. Chris Finch looks like he just got a colonoscopy.
Yes.
Like Chris Finch is there sort of gritting his teeth, trying to draw up plays still. They're up by like 40. And everyone else
he also knows what the reaction is on the other side.
Sure. But my point is, the life of a coach to me is one of the most interesting things. I don't think you ever really enjoy a damn thing. Maybe a championship.
I think he enjoyed, I think it was, okay, how am I going to stop this? This nonsense that's sometime when they get us down 2 years from now and they're going to stomp on us. I think he was embarrassed by the way they were embarrassing the other team. But the worst part, I would call the game a toss-up, right? That evening, the atmosphere. A, wonderful performance. Crowd really into it. B, they did the wave. So I would call it a toss-up.
Players doing the wave, though.
Good and bad. But it'll be back now because these jackasses will now think it's cool again.
Okay, do Minnesota fans do the wave at a disproportionate rate compared to the rest of fans in America?
Hardly at all anymore. It's pretty much disappeared, hasn't it? Now, maybe Viking fans do it once in a while. I don't know.
Do.
How can you, like, at a football? I mean, at a baseball
Vikings
game, I can see people getting bored and like, all right, there's
they do
10-2 in the fourth inning.
Yeah, but I can't remember one at Target Center, but now that'll become the deal. Let's do the wave.
Here's what's sort of
watch the game and shut up.
What's sort of dejecting.
Cheer when there's reason to cheer.
The Timberwolves have now won 8 of their last 10 games. They're, like you said, they're taking care of business, just beating the crap out of these bad teams. And now they're 8 games over 500 for the first time in 4 years. And then you look up and you see that Denver has won 9 of 10. Dallas has won 8 of 10.
Yeah,
the Jazz are still 5 games up in the loss column.
The teams that are leaking are way up there ahead are the Warriors and the Jazz. The Warriors are leaking I think they've lost 5 in a row or something.
They have, yeah. Even the Jazz have won 7 of 10.
Have they really?
And the Clippers are, you're not. I think we're pretty much headed for a Clippers Timberwolves showdown in the playing game.
I told I told somebody that yesterday. I'll take the Clippers unless Kawhi ends his retirement. What a thief that guy is. You got, as I always said, you got guys who rob a 7-Eleven and go to jail for, go in and get 10 shoplift and get a sentence. And you got Kawhi Leonard stealing money. 2 of the last 3 years, he basically refuses to play, and he doesn't go to jail. He gets to walk around free, stealing tens of millions of dollars. So, what a thief he is!
It is kind of amazing. He basically missed that whole season back in 17-18.
Yeah, he refused to play with San Antonio. Then he goes and wins a title with Toronto. Then he leaves them, and since he's gone to the Clippers, what's he played? 20% of the games.
Yeah, he's played like 100 games over 3 years.
Yeah, we haven't played at all this year. I know he had knee surgery, but come on, let's go. With modern knee surgery, they're not going in there with an axe like they used to.
An axe.
They're going there and taking something out. He's a fraud, but he's a great player, but he's a fraud, and that's the Wolves will beat the Clippers at home. They'll beat the Clippers in the play-in game. I would pretty much guess.
I feel like we're going to be on pins and needles throughout that entire game, though, just waiting for something terrible to happen.
Well, that's true, but I gotta say, Karl Anthony Towns is playing better than I thought we'd ever see him play again. I didn't think he was engaged enough. It is considering the pessimistic attitude about his future with the Timberwolves before this season started. How by the All-Star game he'd be asking for a trade, or we all thought because they would disappoint him and he'd want to get out because he was never going to take responsibility for failure, and that turned out just the opposite. Now, they do have to sign him a year from now, right? I think next year's his.
He's got 2 years left on his deal. So there's I believe there's an extension window open again. Yes,
but 2 years counting this year, right? Isn't he gone after 2023 if he wants to be?
But
I'm pretty sure he's 3 years including this year.
I thought the possibility for extension started this summer.
Yes, and
so that they could actually do it, get it
but
done.
But I don't know how long the contract is.
Here, I
thought he only had 1 year left.
No, I think I'm right on this, but we'll see here. So he has 2 more years left after this year. He's signed through the 2023-24 season.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's better than I thought. So, well, he seems to be having a good time. So,
he's doing the wave.
Yeah.
How can he not be?
He's doing the. You know what is amazing? He'll let. He'll have those nights when he'll settle for 18. 17, and let the other guys score the points, which is really something I never thought we'd see from him.
I think what's hard about this team is we have no concept of what their ceiling is over the next 2 or 3 years. Like I feel like we're just we're kind of waiting to see what happens this year, and we don't have any reference points for. It's been 17 years since the Kevin Garnett, Sam Cassell, Latrell Sprewell run, so we don't have any reference points for what a Timberwolves team after Kevin Garnett is capable of doing damage in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. Could this team beat Memphis in a 7-game series? I think so. Mm-hmm. It would be weird. They've only won 2 playoff series in franchise history. So it's hard to wrap your head around what's happening.
Yeah,
here.
Memphis. Yeah, they could beat Memphis. I think they could beat Memphis. But if they're Memphis is tough and nasty, but Ja Morant is the whole deal there. If Pat Bev and somebody else can guard him, they could beat them. I was just having the thought though, a Kogi instead of Jamal Murray, right?
Wow.
No, that was Chris Dunn.
Yeah, Chris Dunn.
Yeah.
Chris Dunn, a Kogi, and
Culver.
and
Jared Culver.
Man alive! If you'd taken real players, then of course you might not have as good a draft. You wouldn't have had Anthony Edwards then because you wouldn't have been last, But
Okogie's tough because he was like the 20th overall pick.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
There were players obviously after him. Grayson Allen actually went right after him.
Well, I'm glad we took Okogie then.
You would have rather taken
yes.
a trash dumpster than Grayson Allen.
They don't like him in Chicago, do they? They kept sending notices out to. Let's just worry about beating them. We're not worried about getting our revenge with the Bucks, right? Because he took some cheap shot, right?
Yes.
Against the Bulls, right?
Yeah, it was
that's a shot.
A few months back.
He took some cheap shot. So anyway, gentlemen, we're talking hoops. What's our verdict on as the Gophers take the court tomorrow to get beat in the first round by Penn State and end up 4-16 in the league this year?
I mean,
for all the optimism, not all the optimism, but all the wonderful bouquets we sent toward Ben Johnson. They were what we thought they were, weren't they?
I'm surprised they got 4. Like I thought they'd be worse.
I thought 4 was probably the ceiling. I thought 2-18, 3-17. But there was some terrible teams at the bottom of the league, and and they did have a couple of wins they shouldn't have had, but at the end, they stunk. And it's an ongoing thing. This Gopher basketball has stunk for 23 years.
Yeah.
In the big picture, it's amazing. We give them way too much credit. We always talk about Gopher football. It's been bad for so long, but Gopher basketball has been, Glenn Mason was better than any basketball coach we've had since Clem went home.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think you can count on less than one hand how many above 500 conference seasons there's been since Clem Haskins.
Tubby went to 3 tournaments, but he only was above the Big Ten once, I think, or was he only 500 in the Big Ten?
I think they've only had 2 top 4 Big Ten finishes since Clem Haskins.
Wisconsin has finished ahead of them 24 straight years in the Big Ten.
That's amazing.
24 straight years.
With a lot of Minnesota grown players as well. Yeah, well, they lost almost everybody except for Eric Curry, right? And they had to bring in a bunch of transfer players from lesser schools.
Yes.
So it's year 0, Pat. It's year 0.
Marcus did a piece on what happened to those 10 guys. 2 of them never played. Omersa who wouldn't take the vaccine, so he didn't stay at St. Thomas. And then this Marquise Mitchell never got into school at Northern Illinois. But the other, about 5 or 6 of them was pretty good someplace else, Now I'm glad Marcus Carr wasn't around. I'd rather have Peyton Willis because he'd actually pass once every 4 trips down the floor instead of never. But he did a piece on those guys. It is amazing to me how some of those guys. One guy went out and was off the bench for Oregon State, which finished 3-28, I believe.
Oof.
But and this guy was off the bench for them. He'd rather go to Oregon State.
I still don't get that.
I don't either.
Why not just stay and play? I mean, the team sucks, okay, but you're going to play.
Yeah. You're
not ring chasing.
2 or 3 of them. It's just amazing to me. But that said, they just ran out of pizzazz, man.
Well, they were playing like a 7-man rotation for almost the whole season, right?
Yeah, the whole season. Poor, and Eric Curry ended up missing 7-8 games. It's a miracle he didn't miss the entire season. The poor guy's been hurt his whole career. And then by the way, we need you to play 38 minutes against Cockburn or whatever, the guy from Illinois.
He's 72, Pat. Give him a break.
Yeah, he is. This time he said he's got a year of eligibility remaining, by the way. But he's told them, I'm done. I'm going to
retirement home,
finishing up my master's and or whatever comes, doctorate or whatever it is. I'm done. But I mean, the Gopher hockey is back on the ice. Now, and you got to get the crowds back. But Gopher basketball, man alive, the people are gone. People don't go to games anymore.
And it's sad because the high school basketball in this state has gotten so much better the last 20 years. I mean, it legitimately is it's a breeding ground for really good players. And
yes, that's what I was saying is how did these 2 things correlate? That just that has I had this thought: is the barn a deficit? Everybody loves the old barn. Is it for recruiting? Is it a deficit? Is it a?
I think it's a place that you quickly speed a recruit through as fast as you can, and then get to the practice facility. Yeah.
And I know the white floor didn't help. That's for sure. But,
thank God they cleaned that up and at least put some paint back on the baseline. Jeez, that was the stupidest thing they ever did. It looked awful on TV.
Old men yelling at clouds.
That is absolutely. No, kids don't like that crap, man. Kids want pizzazz.
If anyone knows what kids like, it's Judd Zulgad and Pat Reusse.
Yep.
Yeah, I correlate to them very well.
All right, what's your give us the over? I'll give you an over under now of May 15th, first pitch.
Yes, there will be a first pitch by May 15th.
Oh, Judd disagrees. Wow. Judd laughed at that.
Well, Judge pessimistic by nature, and I'm the opposite. So
yes.
Well, exactly. Pat's right. There will be at CHS Field
stuff like the wave. Then I get pessimistic. But yeah.
I hope you're right, Pat. I hope you're right.
You know what? Everything that I think about right now, about 2 minutes later, I think that we are reliving at this moment Hitler invading Poland, and we're trying to. I mean, this is the same thing, and we're worried about when baseball's going to start. Every 5 minutes you go back to that and say, God Almighty, what is going on? What is this? So anyway,
no, it's true. It is true. I think you could probably say that about a lot of different points in history and the importance we place on sports versus other things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it. World War II, they kept playing. They had a World Series, so I'm sure people cared who won.
Yeah, right? the Browns played in it, right, Pat?
Yes, the Browns. That's the one time Bill Beck's Browns made the World Series, I think. So
with the Browns,
I think Bill Beck owned them then, maybe not. So anyway, that's it, gentlemen.
All right, Pat. We'll talk tomorrow.
Reusse.
Go Wolves. Go Wild. Don't we have a game tonight?
Rangers.
Yes.
Rangers are in town.
They lose
Tough
that
Rangers
one. I
team.
say fire Emerson.
Wow.
Shake it up.
Love it.
Louis, get it. Louis,
Firing
this
days.
is what Louis
Bill
made
Mahoney.
Louis made a move with 2 games left one season.
Lauren Henning.
With 2 games left.
Fired Lauren.
Yeah, with 2 games to go. Right?
Yep, he did.
Louis would have his whole forehead on that panic button right now.
Bring back Glenn. That's what Louis did. Just brought Glenn back. Where's Glenn?
Are you sober
God bless
today,
him.
Glenn? Yes, you're my new coach. Thank you.
God bless Glenn Sonmore.
All right. See you,
Reusse.
Pat. All right. So wrapping with Reusse here. Two old guys yelling at clouds and complaining
Nobody
about
liked
the
that.
light court.
Nobody liked that court. Young, old. Nobody liked
I was
that.
fine with it. I had no problems with that court.
Oh, it was awful. You couldn't see
Declan,
it.
did you have a problem with the light court? All the college basketball.
Declan doesn't
you
watch
consume?
college basketball.
No.
Have you?
Because he
When's the
never
last
saw
time you
games.
watched a full Gopher basketball
Because he
game?
never saw games.
Like in person or on television?
Either way, like full, like from like where you sat down. You sat down.
saw
All
the
right, for
whole
2
thing.
hours. I'm watching Gopher basketball.
like
Let's do
appointment
this.
television at that point.
Probably within like the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might have missed that court.
Yeah.
then.
I'll admit, I have not watched a full game of Gopher basketball all season. I did watch a full half a couple weeks ago.
I
when
watched
they
a
played
couple
Wisconsin. but-
couple halves.
You know what?
Yeah, I watched a few of that.
You know what?
Not
They
much.
sucked, but they actually did try. Like they weren't.
That's where the bar's at now. That's where the that's where the bar-
You care about them trying?
You knew this.
You?
team, dude, this team. I thought that they would win 2 games. Like I thought the non-conference that they'd get blown out at times, and they didn't. Yeah, yes, I do, because I think Ben Johnson can coach. I don't care about these kids. Like, these kids are gone. Who cares? I care
Well,
about
not all of them. There's a couple of good players on this team. Actually.
Sure, but my point is Ben Johnson, I think, can coach. And if Ben Johnson can coach and recruit, guess what? That's the first step towards turning this program into one that we can be proud of. Dun, 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 dun.
No,
Dun, dun, dun,
I'm not
dun.
hitting the music for this.
No.
I'm just telling you. You know what? That's fine. I woke up today on the right side of the bed. I woke
Mr.
up
Sunshine.
positive. I woke up incredibly positive. Although Pat must be smoking something.
I love how
My
so the
baseball
Timberwolves
today.
had a joyous celebratory victory over a bad NBA team last night to get to 8 games above 500, and Pat complains about the Blazers sitting one of their players. Like, it's hilarious. Anyhow, all right, we gotta go.
We gotta go.